Vikings, let's win the game.
Vikings fans, get ready for a wild stretch of updates out of Minnesota. Kevin O'Connell just confirmed who'll lead the offense against the Chargers, and his explanation sparked some heated debate. He also shared new details on Aaron Jones. Meanwhile, the name of a multi-million-dollar veteran is suddenly back in the rumor mill, and nobody saw this one coming. And it doesn't stop there. There's trade talk swirling again. One high-priced veteran could be on the chopping block, and to top it off, a coach might be counting down his final days in Minnesota. Buckle up, because the last story is lighting up the NFL right now. But before we jump into all that, let me just say this real quick. Hit that subscribe button. It's free, and it helps this purple community grow stronger every day. Drop a like, too, because it makes YouTube push this video out to even more Vikings fans around the world, and leave your thoughts in the comments. This space belongs to every single one of you in Vikings Nation. Kevin O'Connell confirmed what a lot of people expected, but not everyone wanted to hear. Carson Wentz will be the starter once again. Yep, that's 5 straight games with him under center, and J.J. McCarthy is still out. The coach explained that the rookie managed to go through an on-field workout, but he's still feeling pain in that ankle, especially during quick instinctive movements inside the pocket. Honestly, you can understand the caution. O'Connell said he doesn't want to risk a setback and lose even more weeks with a kid who represents the future of this franchise. He admitted that if this were a Sunday game, things might be different. But with a Thursday matchup coming fast, it just wouldn't make sense. Interestingly, O'Connell wanted to announce his starter early to give the team clarity on a short week. Here's another key point. Wentz stays as QB1. Max Brosmer backs him up, and McCarthy is available only in an emergency. Sound familiar? It's basically the same plan as last week. The coach emphasized that communication between McCarthy, the medical staff, and himself has been solid, but they're not rushing anything. Now here's the real twist. Aaron Jones might be back. The veteran running back just had his 21-day practice window opened, and there's a real shot he could suit up this Thursday against the Chargers. That's huge. This guy racked up over 1,500 scrimmage yards and 7 touchdowns last season. Just imagine what that could do for an offense starving for balance. O'Connell said they'll be smart with his workload, but couldn't hide the grin of a coach who knows what Jones brings to the table. If he can't go, Jordan Mason will remain the lead back, with Xavier Scott and Cam Akers rotating behind him. But every Vikings fan knows, when Aaron Jones is active, the offense just breathes differently. He takes pressure off the quarterback and makes the play-action game come alive. To be straight with you, this game against the Chargers could be a turning point for the team's confidence. Wentz needs to prove he's still got something left because the Purple Faithful's patience is wearing thin. McCarthy's the future, but nobody wants to rush the kid. And if Jones really returns, it might be exactly the spark this offense needs. Let me know in the comments. Was O'Connell right to roll with Wentz again, or is it time to give Brosmer a shot? Because the next headline could shake up that entire quarterback discussion in the locker room. It feels like the Vikings just can't catch a break. As the team prepares for the Chargers, the name Kirk Cousins is suddenly back in the mix. Yeah, the same Cousins who left Minnesota in the last offseason is now being floated as a possible return, all because of the uncertainty under center. No joke, this rumor has resurfaced thanks to the chaos surrounding Carson Wentz and J.J. McCarthy. O'Connell still hasn't locked in a long-term starter. Wentz has been inconsistent. Bad decisions, erratic accuracy, the same roller coaster that's defined his career. McCarthy, meanwhile, is still limited by that ankle. That's opened the door for speculation that Minnesota could chase a veteran capable of steadying the ship while the rookie heals. And of course, Cousins' name fits perfectly into that narrative. According to Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk, the idea of a reunion before the November 4th trade deadline is gaining traction. Florio said, by November 4th, the Falcons could be ready to move Cousins out, and the Vikings could be ready to move him back in. The logic's simple. Minnesota still dreams of a playoff run, but sits at 3 wins and 3 losses, dead last in the NFC North, with just a 10% postseason chance. That's the kind of desperation that fuels bold moves. Honestly, I get the fascination. Cousins knows O'Connell's system, gets along with him, and when healthy, he's one of the most consistent quarterbacks in football. But the emotional side of it can't be ignored. Bringing him back would basically admit that the transition plan failed. It's like looking to the future and deciding to rewind instead. Among the Purple Faithful, reactions are split. Some love the idea of a comeback to rescue the season. Others think it's pure panic. Personally, I'm torn too. It makes sense short term, but it could also stunt McCarthy's development. If Wentz keeps stumbling, the front office might pull the trigger, but everything hinges on McCarthy's recovery. The expectation is that he could return against the Lions in Week 9, and that matchup could decide the whole season. If the rookie shines there, Cousins' talk dies instantly. So what about you? Would you take Cousins back in purple and gold just to keep this season alive? Because the next update could crank the tension in Minnesota up another notch. Jordan Addison is suddenly at the center of trade buzz. And yeah, that one caught plenty of fans off guard. The young wide receiver, still finding his rhythm next to Justin Jefferson, was mentioned in national chatter ahead of the trade deadline. Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer sparked it, and that was enough to send Vikings fans into full debate mode. Breer listed Addison as a potential target for teams looking to add young offensive talent, like the New England Patriots. His logic was that Minnesota might not be able to extend everyone down the line and could be open to listening, but honestly, that sounds more like outside speculation than an inside plan. Addison's still on his rookie deal, a former first-round pick, and when locked in, he flashes elite playmaking ability. The problem? Off-field mistakes have piled up, missed meetings, driving incidents, and some discipline from O'Connell, who benched him for a quarter earlier this year. So sure, you can understand why his name sparks debate, even though nobody in Minnesota actually wants to see him go. Realistically, trading Addison now would be a white flag moment. The team's sitting at 3-3, still in the fight, and giving up a 23-year-old difference maker would mean punting on the future. Unless someone throws in an early second-round pick, it just doesn't make sense. And even then, I doubt GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah bites. The guy's analytical, not reckless. There's also light chatter about linebacker Ivan Pace Jr., who's lost snaps recently, but that's more side gossip than substance. Among the Purple faithful, opinions are divided. Some say Addison needs to grow up fast and be held accountable. Others argue he just needs patience and support. And I'm with that second group. Addison might make mistakes, but he's special. The kind of player who can flip a game with one perfect route or a circus catch. Drop your thoughts below. Should his name even be in trade talk? Because if we're talking about players possibly moving, the next headline hits even harder. Literally, in the wallet. This next one stings, but it's the reality of the NFL. One of Minnesota's priciest off-season signings could already be on borrowed time. It's looking more and more likely that defensive tackle Javon Hargrave, the gravedigger himself, could be released after the season. And honestly, the numbers tell the story. Hargrave signed a 2-year, $30 million deal with 17 guaranteed. It started fine, 2 sacks in the opener. But since then, crickets. 0 sacks in recent games and some ugly run defense grades to go with it. The tape backs it up too. He's struggling to handle double teams and losing leverage. What's worse, Brian Flores has started cutting his snap count. Over the past 2 games, Hargrave's played fewer than 25 snaps per contest, while Jalen Redmond, a former XFL standout few expected to shine, is suddenly stealing the show. The kid's living in opposing backfields. Even rookie Levi Drake Rodriguez has seen more action lately, which says a lot. Financially, Hargrave's deal still carries a dead cap hit of around $10 million in 2026, but cutting him would save $11 million next year, a huge chunk for a team that needs to clear nearly $50 million to balance the books. With Allen and Redmond thriving, the logic is simple. Reward performance, not price tags. For the Defend the North crowd, it's bittersweet. Hargrave's respected, a true locker room leader, but the league is ruthless. When production dips and the contract's heavy, time runs out fast. And looking at how this defense has evolved, it's clear Flores is all in on youth. Redmond looks like a long-term piece. Allen's under contract through 2027, and those savings from Hargrave's release could help secure fresh extensions. Let me know what you'd do. Keep the vet for leadership, or open the door for the next wave. Because the next headline is all about the man orchestrating this defensive rebuild, and his future might shock you. Brian Flores is back in the spotlight, and not because of the defense he's coaching, but because of the growing buzz around him. The Vikings defensive coordinator is once again being linked to NFL head coaching vacancies expected to open in 2026. Honestly, it was only a matter of time. The job he's done in Minnesota has been headline-worthy. Since taking over in 2023, the Vikings defense has completely transformed. Top 5 in efficiency, tougher, faster, and smarter. That kind of turnaround gets noticed. According to The Athletic's Diana Rossini, Flores is already on early candidate lists for teams like the Titans, Bengals, and Giants, alongside names like Matt Nagy, Arthur Smith, and Robert Saleh. Nothing official yet, but the league chatter's heating up. What's interesting is that Flores didn't sign an extension last offseason, meaning he's effectively entering 2025 as a lame duck coach with an uncertain future. Combine that with his success and he's bound to draw interest. Everyone knows his exit from Miami wasn't about coaching ability but principles. To be honest, Vikings fans feel both pride and anxiety right now. Pride because Flores has completely elevated this defense. Anxiety because losing him would be a massive blow to the team's identity. The defense is the backbone of this roster and replacing him wouldn't be easy. There's also a silver lining. If he lands another head coaching job, the Vikings would receive 2 mid-round compensatory draft picks under the NFL's diversity hiring rule. That helps the future, but it won't ease the sting in the short term. What's poetic about all this is how the same coach once criticized for being too hard on Tua Tagovailoa is now celebrated for building one of the toughest defenses in football. Feels like time's proving him right. So, do you think Flores stays one more year in Minnesota, or is he headed back to the big chair somewhere else? Because after everything we've seen, it's hard not to wonder what's next for this team. If there's one thing Vikings fans have learned, it's that nothing ever comes easy. From Wentz keeping the job while McCarthy heals, to the Cousins rumors, Addison's trade chatter, and the uncertainty around Hargrave and Flores, it's been non-stop turbulence. But that's exactly what makes this franchise special, its ability to fight through chaos. This team's still got fight left, and the Purple Faith is alive and well. Drop your thoughts below. This space belongs to everyone who lives and breathes the Purple Faithful. Stay tuned. SKOL Vikings, let's go.